Hello, welcome to our DAO podcast. Today, we're going to have a special conversation with our peers. We're going to talk about different knowledge. We're going to talk about our experiences, so let's do it. To start, I want to introduce my friends. Hello, Aidem, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Adem. I'm from Kyrgyzstan.
My name is Chipo Masaka. I'm from Zambia.
Habib from Nigeria.
Andres from Colombia.
Namaste, I'm Renu from Nepal. And I am Helen Chebet from right here in Kenya.
Okay, that's fantastic. To start this conversation, I want to talk about the Digital Action Lab, but related with our experiences, our knowledge that we learned here. So I have some questions. The first one is, how will you define digital democracy and why do you think it's important today? So, Adem, tell me.
Well, I think digital democracy is the really important thing nowadays because so many decisions are made online. And it's important to see that no one's left behind because we know that young people are more tech savvy and older generation cannot use it very well. So for me, digital democracy means democracy but online. And of course, we should focus on bring everyone together to this new digital world. Yeah. What do you think about it? Hadib?
Yeah, I think digital democracy, as the name implies, is using tools or platform, technology to improve democratic processes. So, you want democracy to be more inclusive, you want democracy to be more accountable. So, technology connects people. And that's what digital democracy is all about. It helps us to be more accountable, be more participatory and inclusive with using these tools and platforms that we have. Andres, do you want to speak to that?
Yes. Well, for us, digital democracy is really important because it's the possibility to give access to the people to be part of the democracy. And with the technology, we can reach a wider audience. That is really important because, for example, we have persons with lack of knowledge of democracy. And sometimes those persons, they want to avoid the democracy talks because they think that is useful. Happens that the people later don't want to participate in the votings with the politic affairs, and it's something that we should avoid. We need to make them conscious about what means democracy and politics. And with the digital democracy, for sure, we have a big door that we can explore what happened there, what happened with the democracy for everybody.
Just to write down on what Andres is saying, I think it was evidence from our country study, our previous election that was held in 2021. There was a call to say young people do not participate, they're not on the ground, they cannot hold civic leading positions. But then when it was time to campaign, the opposition took advantage of the digital space to raise awareness for democracy. And we saw a huge response from the young people that actually ushered in a new government because of the platform that they used to campaign. And that is the current government that is really in Zambia. So it's very important to have digital democratic spaces in promoting democratic awareness, in raising advocacy. I think it's a now too that each and every country is supposed to join in if we're going to move and hold hands together as one world, one continent.
Something. What do you think of that? I think that with the digital transformation, digital technology is right here with us, and we cannot escape it. Right now, all the processes of the government to enhance transparency, to bring people's participation are moving more towards the digital side. It's already here, but we're taking small strides towards it. Slowly, very slowly, we are waiting for the time when all the African countries will be able to vote online and such things. But we are very cautious that at the same time, the young people are adapting to it very fast. But for instance, the organization that I do serve, our target population are indigenous women. So these are not people that tap into technology very fast. They are migrating slowly into it. But in the meantime, maybe we need to use technology that is not as advanced for their case so that they can be able to shift to this slowly by slowly. So for us, we decided to maximize the use of radio stations so that slowly we can even do the digital training even through the radio space, and slowly by slowly we are going to get there for sure. Hey, what do you think about
I
it?
think at some point, like digital tools can actually help us to be more inclusive, to remove these traditional barriers like geography, like in perfect world. But at the same time, because of connectivity, that's what we discussed before, some people don't get an access to the internet actually. So so there is a risk that we can exclude a lot of people out of the processes and start doing so. That's why we have a new world, like digital world, and we need democracy in there too.
And in addition to that, I really feel that describing the complexity and the opportunity that digital democracy has provide or used to provide is difficult to explain just by a definition, I guess. And I think the world is digitalized and the process of digitalization is going on. So everything from the cash payment, we have shifted our narratives to the QR scanning and all. So I think in the process of democracy and digitalization, we need to adopt the digital space to make the democracy more vibrant. In context of Nepal, we can take the example of social movements as well. In the earlier days, people used to go on the street and they used to do campaign and rallies. But now we can see they are using the digital space as well in order to do movements. For example, they are doing petitions and they are doing hashtag campaigns as well. So these things are really helpful for resisting in a really creative way and to get to reach to the greater masses as well.
Yes, we can reach a lot of people, but I start to think about digital democracy is a concept for young people sometimes because they are so related with the technology. They are so close, for example, artificial intelligence. But what happened with the older people? What do you think, for example?
I think that we need to broadly define digital democracy, and because there is a subset that is e-democracy, because radio is a technology, and people in rural areas, they listen to radio a lot, and that's a technology that also gets to a lot of people as well. So, and governments use radio to talk about programs, to talk about how they can register for programs, and a lot of people, political commentators come on radio to talk about the issues as well. So I think that for the concept of digital democracy, we must look at it broadly, not just internet. Yes, we must look at all the technology like radio and television and every other thing as also a tool that we can use for democracy as well.
Yeah, exactly. As you mentioned that the digital democracy is not just only necessity, I think it's an urgency for right now. So in short, we can say that all of the generations should be come together. They need to use the digital spaces and all the social media platform as well to make the civic space more vibrant, because not only in Nepal, I guess the civic space is shrinking all over the world. Yeah. So what's your say on this?
Yeah, I think I do support you, and also we cannot ignore the digital space right now, because if you see, for instance, in Kenya, when you're doing the finance bill protest, the digital space did help us and came in so strongly, because this is a platform that you can access very many people in a short period of time. So you don't have like to go through, you can imagine all the processes that we go through so that we do the physical aspects, gathering people to talk to them. But using the digital space, you can be able to move information very fast, to clarify the information, to bring about the petitions and so forth. And we carried a whole protest online, and it was very powerful.
Okay, but how we can define the digital space? If it's not internet, what is? What could be the digital space? The definition, maybe how we can people can participate inside the digital space. How
I think that digital is, of course, technology. So it can be tools, it can be platforms, can be. That's why I said radio can be. But it's important that we know that e-democracy, which is internet, which is internet, is also important, and is also something that can improve participation, inclusivity. As we've all said, everybody here have seen a lot of movements that internet have helped, a lot of voices that's raised. But like, you just talked about the finance bill, the NSAS movement in Nigeria, even the Arab Spring was from the internet, right? So a lot of movements that have really revolutionized democracy, that brought more voices, have already started from the internet, right? So, but and that's also take us to the fact that we all come from the global south, and we have big issues around connectivity. In Nigeria, we have about 60% of the people in rural areas don't have internet. So it's a big issue when we think of digital as internet.
Yeah.
So it's a big issue. Then we are not being democratic. Then we will now find an issue of inclusivity. How do we include them? But we must not. We must work hard to also push government to make sure that there's connectivity as well. But whilst we are doing our program, or the government is doing their program, and also as civil society we are doing our program, we must also think of the people and not marginalize them in our projects, conceptualization and implementation also. So I don't know, what do you think? Digital
space.
Digital space.
Yeah, I think some of the aspects of digital democracy can be like, as you said, the participation part. How is accessible the information? For example, in my country, in Kyrgyzstan, if you ask for some information from the government, they're not always give you this information, and this should be accessible. In the other cases, for example, there was leaks by the government, your information, personal information of some people, and people are in danger right now because of that. Many different cases. So I was thinking to continue this conversation. Is the digital democracy in room with us in your country? Like, what is the context for digital democracy in your country? Do you feel like you are here right now, or it's too far away? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, in attending to that question, I really feel that in order to make the digital democracy flourishment, make it high, I think the marginalized people, women, and all other people should be included in it. I think inclusiveness is the foundational for any kind of activities or initiative that we take. So I think in order to build the people power, in order to make the civic space more vibrant, and in order to in order to make people more inclusive enough, I think there is necessity of minimizing the digital divide, so that e-governance and these other things can make the more flourish. And What do you think in your country?
I do agree that one, to respond to your question, digital democracy is right here with us already, but progressing and growing every single day. We can definitely not ignore the digital divide because we normally think that the young people are already on the digital spaces, but the truth is this digital divide, and even the young people in the rural areas probably do not even have access to technology tools and the knowledge and skills at the same time. So in as much as these people on the urban areas are moving, and they're moving at a very fast speed because they're already digital technology is already here with us. People are already using AI and stuff. But those in the rural and marginalized areas do not even have access to that technology. Yeah.
So I think I just would say I think our final or like the comments that we want to make again is, and what do you think can we can improve in our country like around digital democracy? What do you think can actually push us or push our country to be more because what digital you said it before, we have a shrinking civic space.
Yeah.
And only technology can save us because if we are not connected, we would not be able to meet, we'll not be able to, everybody will be in silos, working in silos. When we have issues, we cannot converge. And that's what technology is able to see, that we have similar issues and we want to protest together. Because democracy is about number, it's about civic, it's about participation. If democracy without active citizens become any other thing but democracy. So what do you think we can what do you think is a solution, like maybe your solution in increasing inclusivity, right, and to allow digital democracy thrive in our countries? And what do you think are like the necessary steps that we must take as CSOs, and what also governments and other players in the sectors can also do to improve it?
For me, I would say just because we are in the digital era, it means that we should do away with the traditional methods that we have been using for communication, the radios, the shorthand SMSs and whatnot. So if we're really going to be inclusive, and I know at least for most of the sub-Saharan countries, majority of the population is in the rural areas. So if we're going to strive to include them, it means even the approaches that we take to raise advocacy and to also pitch in for political policies that will move the democratic space to a whole inclusive space as a whole, is that we should embrace both the new digital era and also the traditional methods of communicating. I mean, digital refers to radio, the new tech era that is fast progressing each and every day. And the gap is so big from the rural side to the urbans and also the peri-urbans. So for me, I think it's to embrace both and not do away with it simply because we are upgrading. That way we would then include everybody.
I think in my country, maybe it's the way that we talk about democracy and give to the people the possibility to have hard conversations, hard discussions, and create spaces where the different points of view be shared. So people will not be afraid to talk about what they think it's better for the country. So what about if they create a program where both parts, like the left and the right parties, stay there and share their ideas, their knowledge? It's important that the people understand that having hard conversation and discussion is good. Good discussions create knowledge and create agreements between everybody, because when we are making democracy, we have to understand that sometimes our decisions will be taken by another ones, and sometimes our ideas were not allowed to win, so other ideas will be developed. We have to understand that, but we have to share the knowledge and be free to speak and give ideas to everybody.
Exactly, Andres. I think in order to discuss the topic like this, I think it is necessary to include the various forms of arts, and we can also use various kind of culture to resonate with the people deeply. Because after all, we are talking about freedom of assembly, right to information, and association kind of thing. And these topics are really big for the people who don't understand the features of democracy, why it is needed. Because after all, democracy is such a thing that is hard earned. In context of Nepal, we had decade of revolution and all. So I think every individual need to resonate deeply why democracy is necessary for them, so that they only get participated, not forcefully, but with their intent and with their interest. So it will be more purposive as well. So I think these kind of things are really necessary to enhance the characteristics of democracy.
Yeah, and following that, I'm agree that we should work more with some rare local languages as well, because we have a lot of information, for example, in English or in other popular languages too. So that's why people know about, like, for example, rights and other stuff. And for example, in our project with DAO, we created the course on human rights in Kyrgyz language, and we actually gave access to this information, to the definition, to the meaning, why are they important in local Kyrgyz language. I think it's important because it is about inclusivity too. You also have to give the same access to the information. Many different languages.
After the revolution independent in 2019, many of the activists got arrested because of their communication means. So their application was hacked. Even as an organization, we have a very interesting website about Beirut Plus called Beirut607.org. It was hacked 5 times. So that's why we thought maybe for activists to find for them digital solution, and that's when we saw the call for the digital action plan. It was actually the moment where we can match our ideas to a very useful program that we found online with Civicus.
For me, digital democracy has the potential to reduce the gap between the people, the communities, and their governments and the decision makers. But also, the digital democracy offers an opportunity to increase and enhance the accountability and transparency of our governments, and an opportunity for the people, for the communities, to make their voices being heard. And make their challenges being seen and acknowledged and addressed.
That's great. So could we move to the second question?
Okay, to close this chapter, what about if we define digital democracy in words?
One word.
One word to define digital democracy.
Each one.
Each one. For example, let's start here.
Moving.
Moving,
Connecting.
connecting, the freedom, inclusivity.
Progressive.
That's hard. You take all the good words. Uniting.
Okay. So this was the first chapter of our podcast. Thank you so much for staying with us, and see you in the next episode. So it's a pleasure to be here, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.